Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be unpacking from Southeast Asia. If you've seen my European packing vlog, that was a whole mess and very stressful. So I decided to go a different route this time. Originally I did film a regular packing video where I was genuinely packing for the trip. I did learn I didn't do it the night before I was leaving, growth, but it was still like I myself didn't even really know what to pack. So I decided not to post that video because I was like, she didn't know what to pack either. She didn't know what she was doing. This girl knows what you should pack and what you need to have with you for Southeast Asia. So I will be inputting some footage from that video, just showing you what I actually wore and what I was glad to have. Before we even get into it, I will say I definitely overpacked for this trip, especially the G Adventures portion. I will get into my itinerary in a second. Having a big bag in Southeast Asia is really not it. In Europe, you know, most things are accessible. You're not going to be going up 30 flights of stairs. In Southeast Asia, you could be. Having a smaller bag is definitely the best idea. Also, it's a much easier climate to pack for. First of all, clothing is more casual, so you're not gonna be dressing up every night like you do in Europe. You want to be wearing light, athletic, thin clothing, depending on where you're going, though, I will say. Sometimes you need cold weather stuff. I'll get into that, but I'm just glad now that I have been through it, I know what you need, and I'm gonna tell you. So before I even get into the stuff that I needed, I'm gonna tell you my itinerary. So I flew to Asia right before Christmas. I actually landed on Christmas Day. My friend and I went to Singapore for about 3 days before going to Thailand with EF Ultimate Break. I am an EF Ultimate Break ambassador. I have a $100 discount code for new EF Ultimate Break travelers in the description. Make sure to use code UAONR100 to get your $100 discount. So if you've never been on a trip with them and you're interested in booking one, this can be used for any trip and also can be stacked on a sale, so you'll get even more savings. So the EF trip that I went on was Thailand Island Paradise. It was a 22-day trip, but that's including the flights that they put you on. So technically it was 18 days, and we went from Bangkok to the islands. It was really, really fun. It was a really great experience, a perfect mix of like city and beach, I thought, and getting to see the Thai islands is obviously the highlight of the country, so I couldn't imagine just going to Bangkok and not seeing the water. I have a full review of that trip either coming or posted. Not sure what order I'm gonna upload these in. Once it's up, I'll highlight it here, and it'll also be linked in my Southeast Asia playlist in the description if you want to check that out. But after that Thailand trip, I went on another trip with G Adventures for 30 days, and this was a full 30 days because no flights are included, and that trip encompassed a little bit of Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos, and then back to Thailand. So we went from Bangkok to Bangkok. That was an insane adventure. I saw a lot, I learned a lot. It was my first time backpacking. If you want a review just on that trip, I can totally make one. Those vlogs are also going to be coming out, but it'll all be in my Southeast Asia playlist. But I would say packing when I knew I was going on that trip was the hardest to pack for because I had no idea what I needed and what I should bring, especially going to northern Vietnam because it was a completely different climate than Thailand. I'll get into all of that after. So with all of those trips, I was in Asia for about 2 months, which was a long time, just as long as I was in Europe. And if you want to check out the exact tour I was on with G Adventures, it's linked in the description. I also just recently became a G Adventures ambassador. If you choose to book through that link, it will give me compensation. If you choose to do that, thank you. But yeah, let's get into packing. The main idea you want for clothes is think flowy, linen, breathable, beach aesthetic, athletic materials, and swimsuits. Obviously, depending on where you're going in Southeast Asia, maybe you don't need swimsuits, but for most of it, I feel like I did. So for swimsuits, depending on how conservative you want to be with packing, and I would say you probably should be conservative, I would say you can definitely get by with 3 to 5, even if you're going for as long as I was. I'm a bikini addict, so I brought options. I'm kind of weird with like, I don't want repeat offender swimsuits in pictures for whatever we're doing, so I brought way too many, 25. I'm also bringing about 30 swimsuits. I have not actually counted, but there's definitely a lot because you know me, I'm obsessed and I bring way more than I ever need. Going overboard on the swimsuits as usual. So if you want options, I would say bring like max 10 bikinis or 10 swimsuits. For clothes, the baseline is bring all of the linen that you own, and if you don't own any linen, you're about to. Southeast Asia, specifically Vietnam, is going to be the best place to get cheap clothes at a good quality, but anything linen is gonna go with Southeast Asia and it's gonna work. I brought linen pants that I wore constantly on that trip, but yeah, it really depends on your itinerary, obviously. I would say anywhere else in Southeast Asia that's not northern Vietnam, you're gonna be good with just just warm weather clothing. It's only northern Vietnam where it got like chilly, like I needed a light puffer cold. In general, in Southeast Asia, everybody pretty much wears casual stuff. I only dressed up once and it was for New Year's, so I definitely regret bringing like 10 other dresses. I didn't really need them. I also brought a bunch of skirts that I never wore. I overpacked. Golden rule is bring what you'll wear. I do this to myself all the time where I'm like, well, I maybe would wear this if the right situation came up, but the right situation probably isn't going to come up. So if that's what you're thinking when you're packing, don't bring it. One thing that comes with traveling Southeast Asia are temples. There are temples everywhere, too many to even count. If you know you're going to be visiting temples, which you probably will, you have to bring clothes that fit the temple dress code. Linen pants are the best choice for this, or linen maxi skirt. At temples, you have to have your knees and your shoulders covered, especially if you're a woman. So just make sure you have a t-shirt or something with your shoulders covered that's conservative enough. For the EF trip I went on, it was pretty much just 2 days that we had to have temple wear, and then the rest we didn't go to any temples. But with the G Adventures trip, we were going to temples constantly and always had to be in temple dress. So if you're doing that trip, definitely bring a few options because you can't always do laundry in between temples because there's just so many. Also with that, shawls are not always allowed for women to cover their shoulders with. So always have a handy linen shirt like this or just a t-shirt that has your shoulders covered, but just know shawls are not always allowed. That being said, some temples are very strict and others are very lax. Like we went to one temple in Laos that we were told we had to be in temple dress for, and then girls were showing up in like tank tops and mini skirts. So it was unnecessary to be in temple wear there. They obviously didn't care. Others, like the Grand Palace in Bangkok, definitely do care and they will turn you away if you're not in temple dress. But I would always just be in temple wear just in case. I'd rather be a little hot and respectful than getting all the way there and being turned away. So for weather, if you are going to Laos and lower, you should be fine to just have warm weather stuff. If you're planning on going above Laos, like in northern Vietnam, you definitely need some cold weather stuff. I picked this up and a bunch of jackets in Vietnam because I was so cold and had no long sleeve shirts and only one hoodie. So if you're going to Hoi An in Vietnam or higher, that's when it started to get cold. Hanoi was pretty cold, honestly. Like I expected it to be warm, but in Ha Long Bay I was like, brr. So if you're planning on going there, definitely bring like a thick fleece or light puffer because it honestly gets that cold. Unless you're one of those people who runs hot, then maybe you'll be fine. So for shoes, I pretty much just wore my rubber Birkenstocks and my regular Birkenstocks in Thailand. And then for my G Adventures trip, we were hiking and doing some activities like ATVing. So I had my sneakers for that. They were white and have never recovered. So shoes are a different story. I was going to try to fit all of these, but I don't think that's possible. So I'm just going to pack these and wear athletic sneakers to the airport. These are going to be probably the everyday, these Birkenstocks. Lots of beach activities and water activities, so these are going to be used a lot for sure. This is just when I want to look nicer than my beat up Birkenstocks. Yeah, it just depends on what activities you're planning on doing. If you know that you're gonna go hiking, obviously bring appropriate shoes, but I totally got by with just my Birkenstocks and rubber Birkenstocks when traveling Thailand. And we were doing a lot of walking, so if you're the kind of person that needs extra support and a Birkenstock won't cut it, bring your walking shoes because we were out there. This is the state of my suitcase after packing those 6 dresses. I'm going to layer my skirts on top of the dresses and see how that goes. One packing cube done. Now I'm gonna try to put my bottoms in one and my tops in another. My swimsuits, I'm gonna see if they're gonna all fit in this bag. I doubt it. Okay, honestly, we're kind of doing well. All my tops fit in here. All of my pants are in here, and then all of my shorts are in this bag. I put my jean shorts under because those don't roll well. All my toiletries and stuff are gonna fit here. With the base bag, it's super nice. They have all of this organization. We're not doing so bad. Europe was definitely way worse. Also forgot about my swimsuits. The only thing about this versus a packing cube is this is not going to get flat. So this is what it's looking like now. I did underwear and bras in here, and then my socks are all tucked in. Okay, so here's my personal item bag. I layered my shoes inside each other, and I'm gonna be putting this in the bottom of my personal item. I added my other shoes right here, and we only have this much space for all my toiletries. That might be a problem, but we'll fight that battle when we come to it. All my makeup, I'm sure is gonna go in my personal item, and I'll get into extra essentials right after this. So here's the juicy part. Now I'm going to be showing you the extra essentials that I thought were really important to bring on this trip. All of the things that I bought from Amazon are in my Amazon Southeast Asia list on my storefront. That is linked in the description, so feel free to shop that. First things first was this bug bite thing. I got it from Amazon and literally my entire group used it. This is just for bug bites and I'm definitely gonna be using it over the summer. But basically you just put it on the bug bite, suction for about 10 seconds and then you can release, and if it keeps itching you can do it as many times as you want, but it really helps with inflammation and with the itchiness. My entire group was using it, especially the last day when we got to Bangkok. Since we were all friends by then, I had like 8 different people using it in a row on all of their bug bites and they all thought it helped, so definitely a thing to buy. And you can use this forever, it's not like it runs out, so bug bite thing. On the way to Singapore, I barely got any sleep, and I usually don't sleep super well on planes unless I'm exhausted, so flying from home, I wasn't that tired. I'm not really a neck pillow person. I feel like plain neck pillows, you're still like falling all over the place. They just don't feel like that supportive to me, so I went a different route and I got this neck pillow situation. So basically, this straps on to the headrest of the plane seat and it's a cushy pillow. It feels really nice, but then it also comes with this eye mask that velcros on to the headrest. If you just press it to the side, you can wrap it around your head and then you won't be falling everywhere. It's pretty strong. Like, I thought it totally held my head. If you love a window because you love sleeping on the wall and you don't get one, this helps a lot. It really helped me sleep on the way back, especially during my 22-hour flight. So this is in my Amazon and it was a gem of a find. This and the bug bite thing were my 2 favorite purchases from Amazon. So if you've watched my European packing video, then you'll already have seen this, but this was my personal item bag. It has tons of pockets and a strap that hooks onto your suitcase. It fits under the seat perfectly, even when I stuff it to the brim. You don't have to be worried about that. Even budget airlines, like, it still fits under the seat, but it can hold so much. Everything that I'm talking about in this video, I can stuff it in this bag and it will fit. Super happy I got it, and it can fit way more than a backpack can. So when traveling Southeast Asia, even if you're not going during rainy season, always have a rain jacket. I don't know why you wouldn't bring one. I almost forgot mine on the way, honestly. If you're going to Vietnam first, you might be able to pick one up for cheap, and a good quality one too, but I already had one, so I brought mine from home. It's a super thin North Face one, so I can just roll this up into a tiny ball or just pack it flat, and it doesn't even matter if I don't need it because it's not taking up any space. So just always have something for rain, because you never know. One thing that my entire group ended up needing, and I honestly had to share it with a lot of people because they were suffering, are stomach medicine, specifically Imodium. We all got norovirus one time or another in both of my groups, so this wasn't just a Thailand thing. Like, through all of Southeast Asia, everyone was getting sick and it was rough. We pretty much all had the same symptoms, and it wasn't food poisoning because we all ate stuff at the same time, and it would only be like one person getting sick. So I definitely do think it was a virus. It was just going around the group, but definitely have at least Pepto-Bismol on you, something to help. But Imodium is the best. It's pretty cheap and over the counter, so just go get some if you've never used it before. Lucky. With this pill pack that I also got from Amazon, I just put anything I could possibly need in here, especially going away for the amount of time that I did. Anything that I could possibly need is in here. So definitely recommend bringing your own pharmacy. So also in this, you want to have Dramamine, depending on what you're doing. If you're going to be on a lot of boats or going on long drives, you definitely want to have that if you're prone to motion sickness. Even if you're not, it's just good to have, because during this trip, the ocean was a lot rougher than I've ever been on, to be honest. Like, we were hitting waves and we'd be like thrown out of our seats at least a foot. So it was crazy. Just make sure you have things for your upset stomach, because that's probably going to be your biggest problem. But bring anything you may need depending on how long you're going, because you don't want to deal with like all the stress of trying to buy something overseas and having to translate it when you're feeling horrible. It's cheap enough here to just buy stuff over the counter here, so you have it just in case. If you're acne prone like me, then you know that you can't just use any lotion on your face. It has to be specifically face lotion. So I originally brought this and got it taken away at the Singapore airport because I forgot to put it in my checked luggage. So I had to buy one in Thailand. So they do have it there. It was pretty comparable price, pretty much the same, honestly, which was kind of upsetting. But just going off of that, not everything is cheaper there. Things that have to be imported, American or European brands, are going to be the same exact price they would be at home, if not more expensive. Don't think Louis Vuitton is going to be severely discounted, because it won't. Fake Louis Vuitton will be though. If you're oily skinned like me and hate the feeling of American sunscreens, please try this. This is Beauty of Joseon matte sunscreen stick. It's just a green sunscreen stick, super easy to use and a pretty good size. So I used this for reapplication whenever I was out on a boat or anything like that, so I didn't have to bring liquid sunscreen with me. Also, it mattified my skin, which is chef's kiss, because I have super oily skin usually, so whenever I put sunscreen on, it's like disco ball. So this really helped and was honestly a lifesaver, and it's so much easier reapplying your sunscreen to do this than to have liquid sunscreen. I bought it from Stylovana, but you can get it from the Beauty of Joseon website or a bunch of other websites. Just look for it. Another important thing that you should bring are electrolyte packets or just electrolyte powder if you have a brand that you like. I was trying the Cure for the first time and got a variety pack. Lime was the only flavor that I hadn't tried. I liked all the other flavors, so the Cure is a good brand to go with if you don't know where to start. Also Liquid IV, everyone says they love Liquid IV. I've honestly never tried it. Just have electrolytes on you. You will get dehydrated at some point, and it's really important to stay hydrated when it's always hot, you're always in the ocean and the sun. So this is one thing that everyone seemed to have by the time I got to Thailand. They're hair flower clips. If you use claw clips, and this is the exact same thing, just a way cuter style. This white one ended up being my go-to. I pretty much used it practically every day, but I used this white one whenever I wanted something extra to look cute. If you've watched my Europe video, you saw that I got a variety pack of like 6 before I went, but I wore them a lot more here. But I just got them from Amazon. They've held up really well and made it through 4 months of traveling and I'll definitely continue to use them because I think they're super cute, even though they're just trendy right now. You also need a reusable water bottle, preferably insulated. I brought one with a straw, which was a stupid decision, and used it a lot for the first half of my trip, but then the straw got moldy because I couldn't wash it every day, and obviously I had to stop using it after that. Having a water bottle at all times with me that would stay cold was super useful, and a lot of people didn't have water at certain times because especially when you're traveling in remote places or you buy a giant water bottle, you don't want to bring the massive one around, or if you get glass bottle refills in your hotel room. So just having a reusable water bottle was really useful and I definitely recommend. I brought a lot of bags with me, honestly probably too many, but having a belt bag was definitely a good decision. I use this a lot whether I was going on hikes or going ATVing or stuff like that. Just having something that can securely clip onto you, especially like driving on mopeds and stuff. If I knew I was going to take a grab bike, I wore this because I knew no one could take it from me. It is possible that when you're riding a grab bike you could be robbed. Like that does happen. They do drive-bys where they just snatch your purse, so I knew no one could snatch this. So having a crossbody with you is always a good idea. It's pretty small and can pack up when you're not using it. Also, if you're going to Vietnam first, they have a ton of fake ones if you want to buy one there. This one is real, but if I had known that and I didn't already have one, I would have definitely wanted a fake one because they looked really real. So one thing about Southeast Asia is the people there don't sweat as much and don't have as much body odor as Americans, which is interesting, but that's just how their genes are, I guess, and they're used to the heat and built for that climate. So if you need antiperspirant, which you definitely will, bring your own with you. This is my favorite one. This is the only one I can confidently say lasts all day, and I like the smell of it. They also have a non-scented version if that's what you want. This thing has come in clutch for me all over Europe and all over Asia, so I don't think I'm ever gonna switch brands. Going off of that, these mini perfume sprayers that I got from Amazon are a gem, so I don't have to bring my entire Carolina Herrera bottle, which will definitely get damaged. These are awesome. Also, you can put any liquid in here that you can pump out of the bottle, so it doesn't just have to be perfume. I also use it for my face spray and glycolic acid, so skincare stuff you can definitely put in here. And speaking of that, my antimicrobial face spray, you know, came with me. I got a bigger spray bottle that I could bring with me than my mini perfume holders, but I did use those on the plane and they were awesome to just give myself a refresh during the 20-hour flight. This is linked in my Amazon and one of my favorite purchases ever. If I knew this had existed in high school, I think I would have had much different skin. But basically, if you're acne prone like me, this helps a lot, especially when you're traveling, to just give yourself a midday refresh or spray your pillows down, or if you're going to a sketchy hostel, it was getting sprayed. The night trains, they were sprayed. So it's also a disinfectant, not just for acne, like it basically just disinfects bacteria. Another item that came in clutch was my GoPro. We had so much time in the ocean. I just have an old Hero 6 Black that I used to get underwater content, accompanied by this floaty stick. I definitely was happy that I could record all the coral reefs that I snorkeled and all of the sea life that I saw. If you are going to Thailand or the Philippines or somewhere super tropical that you know you're going to be swimming, you definitely want to have an underwater camera. I do have a cheaper option linked in my Amazon list, so if you don't want to drop over $100 on a camera, totally understandable. You can also do what a lot of people on my trips have done and bought an underwater case for your phone. I personally don't go that route because I'm just too afraid to risk it, because if I lose my phone on vacation, my world is over. Kind of being dramatic, but also I'm not. But there's also tons of cheaper underwater cameras out there that you can use. Another great purchase from Amazon was this hanging toiletry holder. If you've watched my Europe video, I know I already talked about it, but especially if you're going to be traveling in hostels, you definitely want something that can hang and not take up space and keep things organized. Just having the ability to hang it up instead of like digging through multiple bags was just a much easier way to travel, and I'm glad I started doing this since Australia. Also, if you hate putting on lotion like I do, get a lotion bar. It doesn't count as a liquid, and definitely it came in handy for my dry skin. The bar definitely lasted me 2 months. I would say at least 40% of it is still there. It does last a long time, and it's just made of beeswax. This particular one is vegan, plastic free, and natural, and I just thought it was super convenient for travel. So for my girlies, if you want a universal straightener, here you go. This is the Timo straightening brush, and I've used this all over Europe. Honestly, didn't use it that much in Asia just because I wanted to have either my natural hair texture or I was just putting it up all the time because it was too hot to have it down. So this is not a need, but if you want a straightener, definitely make sure it's dual voltage. This one works really great for me. I will say it is heavy, but I need it because I have a lot of hair. If you have thinner hair, one of those tiny travel straighteners will be better for you. But if you have a lot of hair and are going to be straightening your hair a lot, definitely go this route. It's worked really well for me. And it's also much faster than using a traditional straightener. I'd say I can straighten my whole head in definitely 15 minutes or less. So that's really fast compared to a regular straightener, which would take me probably 30 minutes, double the time. And we all know on vacation we never have enough time to get ready, so this really helps. Talking a little more about hair, all of these products came in handy when trying to achieve hairstyles or slick back looks. This brush is the only one that works for slick back looks. It's just a basic Evolve brush. It's number 575. This is a wax stick, and this is the key to achieving that slick back. Also, this doesn't count as a liquid, so it's really great to bring, and it's not too heavy. This got to be glued gel stick has changed my life. It's specifically for flyaways and almost looks like a mascara wand. Just putting a little bit of this just in the very front of your hair, or if you're doing a slick back, just getting your baby hairs with this really helps a lot. And then of course, these clear little hair ties. I love doing little braids, so I always need these for those. If you're planning on doing hostels, you are gonna need these. Get some earplugs. I am personally a light sleeper, so I needed these more often than I would like, especially on the G Adventures tour because it was more of a backpacker vibe, lots of hostels. I was using my earplugs a lot. I don't think I would have slept much without them. I barely slept anyway, but they really did help. Going off of that, an eye mask. If you're gonna be in hostels, people are gonna be turning on the lights, waking you up. Even if there's a privacy curtain, sometimes it's not enough, so I just go with my trusty eye mask. This was also from Amazon, and I like that it has the padding around so it doesn't go directly on my eyes. Also a lifesaver. For my girlies who get bad razor burn, this always helps. I've been using this from my swimming days. When I was shaving every day for practice, I was using this to get rid of the razor burn and prevent it from showing up at all. Since I discovered this product, I have never had it, so it really works. If it's on Amazon, it'll definitely be in my list, but I usually get it from Ulta. If you're gonna be in swimsuits a lot, this really helps. For Singapore, obviously, I was staying in a hotel, so I didn't need it. For Thailand, I didn't really need this either, but for the G Adventures tour, I definitely needed my own microfiber towel. If you're planning on staying at hostels, they don't always have towels, or if sometimes they do, they're gonna charge you to use them. So just having your own towel can really save you some money if you're on a tight budget. And even when we were staying at hostels but had a night train, if I came back to shower and we'd already checked out, they tried to charge me for a towel, so I used my own. Also, some excursions may not have a towel provided to you, so that's when this just comes in handy. I'd say if you are planning on going solo or doing a G Adventures tour and not exclusively staying at hotels, bring a microfiber towel with you. They are also linked to my Amazon, but not this specific one. This specific one is from feelingswell.com if you want to check it out. I think it's super cute. It also has a smiley face in the middle of it and then says Feeling Swell on the back. This is also the softest towel that I have. Highly recommend getting a towel from them if you want. Don't know if they sell this exact one anymore because I bought it a few years ago. For hair, if you need conditioner, definitely bring your own. I just got this regular travel size from Target. They didn't have conditioner anywhere, so I used this guy, and you can always buy more there for cheaper if you need it. Going off of that, even hotels don't have lotion usually. Hostels can have 3-in-1s, so if you need a special shampoo, bring that. I also brought Pantene shampoo, but if you're not flying into a remote spot or if you're flying into Bangkok, I would try to buy it there because it's definitely going to be cheaper than buying it at Target in the US. Another essential that I think anyone should have for any international trip is an international adapter. It has all of the outlets. I will say for Thailand, most of the outlets had American plugs as well, but in Vietnam, Cambodia, and I think Laos, it was a lot of European plugs, so you never know what you're gonna need. You can use this forever. If you travel a lot, just buy one, or you should already have one. Another essential was this wrinkle release spray that I got from Target. I was wearing a lot of linen pieces, and while I was living out of my suitcase, they definitely got super wrinkly. So this wrinkle release saved a lot of my outfits from looking crazy wrinkly. Another good thing to have. Also from Amazon, this electronics organizer. If you have a lot of devices or you have camera stuff, I put all of it in here so I know where all of my chargers are. It has 2 sides of storage, so there's definitely a lot of space for all of your chargers. It was really cheap, honestly, and just has really helped me stay organized. And obviously a portable charger is needed. This is just one from Belkin, so it has about 2 charges in it, but it's kind of old. And I also love the size of it because it's pretty small and I can just slip it into my purse or bag, and it doesn't weigh a lot. This has been really handy, especially when you are out all day. You don't want to be running out of power, especially if you're taking videos and stuff, so this is a lifesaver. Another essential is obviously AirPods or noise canceling headphones. I bring both because I love to use these on the plane and I love to use these while I'm traveling. So when I'm planning to just tune out for hours, these are the ones that I use. These are Sony brand, but if you're on the go and want to be able to like listen to music or whatever, obviously you're gonna bring your small portable AirPods. Depending on where you're going and how you react to extreme heat, you might want this mini fan. This is a super cute one that I got from Amazon. It just extends out, and then this is the charger. Works just like that. You can also stand it up on your bedside if you want to have it while you're sleeping in a hostel. It also works as a flashlight, which I think is really cool. And this version is also a portable charger, so if your phone's really dying with your regular portable charger, you can use this one, but I wouldn't rely on this one because it's not that good to where this can be your backup battery. But to be honest, I didn't really use this. I just thought I would throw it in here in case somebody would need it, because I know a lot of people needed it for the Europe trip, and even though Bangkok was insanely hot, it wasn't as hot as Rome in July, so I wish I had it then. Didn't really need it as much for this one. Another great thing to have is a wet to dry bag. This is a small one from Tier, but I could definitely fit like 2 swimsuits or bikinis in here, no problem, and I could just put this in my bag and not worry about anything else getting wet. Just squeeze them out before putting them in here and nothing else will get wet. One thing that I personally found useful was bringing my mini iPad with a bunch of books loaded onto it. I didn't use it that much when I was in Thailand, but when I had downtime during the G Adventures tour, I definitely had time to read toward the end, especially if you're planning on doing a ride on the Mekong Delta. You're going to be on that boat for a long time, 8 hours at a time for 2 days, so you definitely want to have something to do offline because there's no service. My last tip is a pretty basic one, but if you don't have these and you travel, what are you doing? Packing cubes and separate bags help so much when you're packing. If you saw my European video, you know that I plugged these to the fullest extent. Not even specifically these packing cubes, just any packing cubes you like that you find. Having everything put in different sections of your bag and knowing which packing cube to go in for which item you're looking for helps tremendously. Instead of just ripping apart your entire bag, it also helps with packing when you have to move every single day or every other day. Even if you're backpacking, putting packing cubes in your backpack will help organize it. If something's at the bottom of your bag or in the middle, you don't have to destroy everything else to reach that item. So it might sound like a mom thing to do, but use your packing cubes. They help a lot. So those are all the things that I consistently used every day that I thought should definitely be mentioned or packed. But going off of that, these are just a few things that I bought when I was in Southeast Asia that I used consistently throughout the trip. The first thing was this necklace. I got this in Krabi, I'm pretty sure, in Thailand. I think it's so cute and I'm never gonna take it off. I think the best cheap jewelry I found was in Krabi because they didn't have this like beach vibe for the jewelry that was being sold in Vietnam, unfortunately. But Krabi and Phuket are your best bets to get jewelry. Also Chiang Mai, Thailand, so mostly just Thailand. I think this was about $4, so what a steal. In Thailand, I also got this bag. I like it because it has a zipper closure so no one can try to take stuff out. It also has a separate pocket for your wallet or anything important, and I just thought this was a great beach bag because sand can't really get into it. And even though it's super touristy, you're gonna see these elephant bags everywhere. I didn't see any with this specific font. I got this at the Long Neck Village next to the elephant sanctuary that I went to in Chiang Mai. So if you're interested in doing that elephant sanctuary tour and sticky waterfall tour in Chiang Mai, it was a separate get your guide activity that I did. I'll throw that in the description, but it's also linked in my vlogs if you want to check that out. Another bag that I got in Phuket was this knitted green flower bag. I absolutely love this bag. I saw it and I knew I had to get it, and I'm so glad I did. I used it for the entire Thailand trip and some of the G Adventures trip, but this was the start to the bag addiction. The third bag that I got was this leather bag. I got this in Vietnam, in Hoi An, Bhutan. That is definitely the most expensive city to shop in. If you want less expensive stuff, go to Hanoi, and the prices there were significantly cheaper on the fake stuff, like fake North Face, Patagonia, mostly sport brands, which was interesting. But this was just an off-brand leather bag, and he started at $80 US. I was like, that's crazy. I got him down to 40. I hope that was a good decision. It's honestly a quality bag so far. It's held up. It's pretty water resistant, and I think it'll last me a long time unless it starts falling apart. We'll see. But I mostly got this bag because it has a magnetic closure and has a bunch of pockets inside, so I like that. I can stay organized with my stuff a little bit instead of just digging. I also got this money pouch. This was super useful. I got it like in the last quarter of my travels, which really sucks because I used cash the entire time I was there practically. A lot of Vietnam restaurants do accept cards, so it just depends on where you are, but you will definitely be using cash. Cash is king in all Southeast Asian countries. My wallet that I had, it could not handle it, so I put all of my money in here at the end, and it was so much easier to sort through my bills and see what I had. And when you get to Thailand, you are going to be dealing with coins, so that's why you hear all my baht jingling around. So if you have a money pouch, bring it, because this was a much easier way to keep track of all of it. I also thought this was super cute, so I bought it in Vietnam. I bought too many fake jackets. I technically got 4 fake jackets. I got a North Face thin puffer for my brother, and then I got a thicker puffer for me, and then I got my mom and I matching Patagonia fleeces. So this is what mine looks like. I think it looks pretty real. Like, all they have to do is get the label right. It's super soft. I was freezing in Vietnam, so I used it a lot. Just know in general, sizing in Southeast Asia is completely different from the US or the UK. This is a large and it's barely oversized. The small did fit me, but I do like an oversized fit. But I paid $28 for 2 of these, so $14 for a Patagonia fleece. I'm not mad. In Thailand, I got these fake Pradas. I mostly got them just because I like the way they fit my face, not because they're supposed to be Pradas, because obviously they are not. The fake Prada that was there has faded a lot, and it has a fake like made in Italy, and then it does say Prada up here. If these didn't come off, it would be a good fake, to be honest, but I just like the glasses. But they have tons, especially Vietnam, fake designer stuff. So if that's what you're looking for, go to Saigon Square once you get to Ho Chi Minh City, because they have tons of fake designer there and you can barter your price. Another thing I got in Thailand, this is kind of funny, toilet paper. This is technically a travel pack of Kleenex. You will need toilet paper if you are a girl in Southeast Asia, because they generally do not have it in the public bathrooms or wherever you're trying to go, at rest stops. Even some restaurants, they don't have it. So you need to have a pack of this on you. They have tons of different kinds of toilet paper packs in 7-Eleven. So if you're going to a country that has 7-Elevens, you'll be able to easily pick it up there. I would definitely get it there. Don't like buy some and bring it with you unless you are going straight to a remote destination, because it's going to be way cheaper to pick it up in Southeast Asia. Also, bug spray. This is the famous Thai bug spray. I got this in 7-Eleven. It's a super mini size. I think it was maybe 50 cents, probably less than that. Just look for this bottle. They'll have them everywhere in Thailand in the 7-Elevens. I had friends that were using this. They were spraying themselves down like it was a bath. It was crazy. The thing is, I don't really think he got less bites than me. I feel like he got more, if anything, and I really stopped using it. So I'm honestly not sure if it works, but the Thai people swear by this, and it smells pretty good. Also, I would wait to buy sunscreen when you're there because it's going to be way cheaper. Anything that you buy at the drugstore that's widely available, I'd wait and buy it in Asia because it's going to be way cheaper. Just if you're buying sunscreen or any facial product, make sure it's not whitening, because that is a thing down there. There are a lot of whitening products. Unless you want a whitening product, I would make sure to translate the label and make sure it's not whitening. We had an English girl trying to tan on our trip and she was using a whitening sunscreen the whole time, so that was really funny. But yeah, I think that is all I have for you today. That was me unpacking my Southeast Asia essentials. This was a very different packing video, but I hope you liked it. If you're going on any of these trips or have any questions about any of the countries I visited, feel free to comment down below or message me on Instagram at Anna Richter. Or if you have any additional questions that I didn't cover, always feel free to reach out. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one.